that him that is of power to establish you spiritually, doctrinally, according to my gospel. And don't ever forget, what's Paul's gospel? That Christ, the Creator, God of the universe, took on flesh, died the death of the cross, was in the tomb 3 days and 3 nights, and arose from the dead, victorious over everything. That's Paul's gospel. Why do they hate it? I can't understand it. Now, if I had a bunch of goo that was hard for anybody to understand, then I could say, well, no wonder. But no, it's so simple. That's the problem. It's too simple. Now it's all been done. We don't have to practice a do-good religion. It's all by grace. You know, somebody gave me the latest Roman Catholic Catechism, published in 1994. You know, I read the first chapter and I was flabbergasted. I could have written it. No kidding, I could have written it. It was all by God's grace through faith in what God had done. If they'd have just stopped there. But see, then you go on into chapter 2, and there comes a little more, a little more, a little more. Then pretty soon it's what it is. But same way with Martin Luther. What was Martin Luther's number one tenet when he opposed the Pope? It's by faith and faith alone. Then what happened? Well, then they bring in all this other stuff, see? But it is amazing how they just cannot rest on the simple Pauline truth that the gospel alone will save to the uttermost. And all you do is believe it. You know, I think in one of my early programs I already used the illustration. Aren't you glad you don't have to swim some wild mountain river in order to get to the place of salvation? Aren't you glad you don't have to climb some sheer cliff to get up there and have an approach to God? Aren't you glad you don't have to drum up $1 million before you can approach God? Well, see, that's almost what the world is making us do. You got to do before God will have anything to do with you. No, that's not it. It's by faith and faith alone in what Christ has already done. All right, let's read the verse on into the end of it now. That the power to establish you according to my gospel, the death, burial, and resurrection, the preaching of Jesus Christ according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret. Nobody had any idea. When he came on the scene, as John the Baptist announced him, as the Lamb of God that would take away the sin of the world, did everybody say, oh yeah, he's going to be hung on a Roman cross? Did they know that? Well, of course not. They didn't know what John was talking about. And so he went on through his earthly ministry, and I think we looked at it the last taping in Luke when Jesus said, we go up to Jerusalem. Everything written by the prophets will be accomplished. And he will be beaten, and he'll be put to death, and he'll on the third day rise from the dead. Did the 12 understand? No. God hid it from them. It wasn't time, see? All right, so now let's go quickly back to Ephesians chapter 3 again. And so this is all part of this revelation, a revealing placed right out in front of the human race, things that had never been mooted before. Not a word. All right?